this whole wildcard, the motivation for me really is Garry, is my dad, and to just go there, present ourselves very, very well, get in there as a win, you know. And I know I just don't want to be a car show when we get there. It's a motor race and we'll be having a go, but we just got to keep our expectations under control and just really enjoy the experience and celebrate what Dad has done.
Hey everyone, welcome along. Great to have your company. We are on the V8 Sleuth Podcast, powered by Parramatta Toyota, Sydney's Toyota dealer with a passion for performance and motorsport. Now, I've been here before. I'm sitting at a table. I'm sitting at Garry Rogers Motorsport. I was here in April 2024 with the man who's sitting alongside of me here. Garry Rogers, thank you. Great to be here. Great to see you again. We've got some good stuff to talk about here because Garry Rogers Motorsport is coming back to supercars and the Repco Bathurst 1000. This is cool. This is very exciting.
It is Noons, and hopefully the energy of the excitement carries us all the way through. But it was something that Garry really, really wanted to do. Was when I say return to Bathurst, we probably had a bit of unfinished business after we left supercars with particularly young Nathan Hearn, and really excited to get back there. And it's you know, look, Garry's certainly the motivation from my point to want to do it, but for our staff and our long-term sponsor Valvoline, all very excited about it. So looking forward to it, Noons.
So wind me back. Where does this really take hold? Oh no, clearly it's been something that's been bubbling as a, wouldn't that be great to do? We'd love to do it. But where does it become a real, all right, the momentum started? Where do we wind the clock back to?
Yeah. Look, Garry and I had been talking about it probably in the last couple of years. We've still been talking about it, and we're busy obviously with particularly Trans Am in most recent times, but you know, we went through the TCR period. Obviously S5000 from our point, GRM was it was not only a big investment, but certainly took a lot of our time up for a period there. And really, when Dad passed last October, I'd sort of, you know, it was back in my mind, and we went to Bathurst this year at Easter, and James Moffat and I, we drive up together every year when we go to Bathurst, whether back in the days when it was 1,000, but certainly when he was driving for us in supercars, but certainly since those days of TCR, Trans Am, James and I always do a road trip up. We stop at Wagga, have a couple of beers on the way up. Moff always leads the way there, though, you know.
I was like, who's driving? Are you driving?
No,
Is he driving?
Oh, no, I drive, but Moff likes to get behind the wheel, you know, but
drive.
We take my car, and I like to look after it, Noons, you know. No, anyway, so we're up at Bathurst at Easter, and racing the Trans Ams. And it must have been the Sunday morning, after the Sunday morning race, we're packing up, and I was there talking to Stuart Hearn, Nathan's dad. Obviously, we know the Hearns quite well from over the years, and Nathan had a good weekend, of course. I think he put it on pole and had 3 wins, I think, from memory that weekend. And Stuart, we just in general chat said, you know, how do I ever get Nathan? How does he actually get a start at Bathurst? You know, I know we're close to those years ago, but how does it happen? And I said, look, you just got to keep doing what he did today. Just keep racing well, keep knocking on the door. Eventually, you'll get a go. And, you know, he's had a couple of test days with, Premier. Pete Zibris has been very good to him. And, you know, I think generally people are aware of Nathan and you know, as I said to his dad, but you just got to just keep doing what you do, you know. And then on the way home, Moff and I on the road trip home, we don't stop on the way home. We blaze home to Melbourne, you know, and chatting to Moff in the car on the way home, and obviously got Moff's mind thinking because obviously he didn't have a drive this year. Tickford didn't renew his contract, and he sort of started thinking. He didn't say too much at the time, but he rang me a few days after the road trip home and said, look, would you mind if I gave Stuart Hearn a call? I've got a bit of an idea if we could maybe do something with Nathan, you know, just start the conversation. And so that's really where it started, you know, started getting, you know, a bit more momentum was just after Easter this year. And in a way we sort of went from there. Initially, look, I spoke to Barry Ryan around the corner. Look, Betty and Barry, you know, Garry and I, Garry particularly, very, very fond of them. We really, really rate Barry, the way he goes about it. And so initially I spoke to Barry hoping that maybe we could do something with Erebus with a car. And they rolled out a new car, I think, at Tasmania this year, didn't they?
That's right. Cooper Murray had a...
Cooper Murray, and then Cooper's car went to Job, and I think Job's car that he had was the Bathurst winning car. That they're obviously keeping. And they're planning on getting another car together, but as time went on, Baz sort of kept me in the loop and sort of looked like they weren't going to be getting that second new car ready for this year, and which didn't make a car available. But so Moff did a bit more. You know,
he was supercar sleuthing, wasn't he?
He was
trying to find some cars.
Correct. I think you're spot on, and I don't know who gave him the lead, but I think Jack Perkins might have said to him that, is it Steve Blackmore, the SCTR, Track Rentals fellow? He might have owned an X888 car or something, so Moff rang him. And from there, Jamie sort of heard what was going on. This is just before Darwin, you know, about a month back from now, and then Jamie gave me a call and said, look, I believe you might be after a car. So we caught up at Darwin, and one thing led to another, and looked to be really, you know, Frank, Jamie was very, very fair to deal with, reasonable. They've been very good. They've actually got Gypsy up at their shop today. Gypsy's up at 888 today.
Jeff Marshall, he's been at your place here for 20 plus years?
20 plus years.
Yeah,
He's been our main engine guru man, and he's up there spending a couple of days with 888. Bit of a handover of the car, and it'll be here at GRM when we get back from Perth this weekend.
Yeah. So the car is the wildcard car that Craig Lowndes has driven the last couple of years, with Zach Bates last year, with Cooper Murray at the Enduros in 24. So it hasn't done much. Like, it's a pretty fresh car.
What's the best result it's had, Noons?
I'd have to go look it up.
Come on, mate,
I think they had a fifth at Sandown in 2024.
Right, okay.
Not far off the podium there. So, but it's a pretty lightly raced car.
Yeah.
And of course, they've moved to Ford, so Camaros are not their thing. Was it important for you to have a GM car for this comeback to supercars? Yeah,
I think so. Look, as much as Garry was always open with his brands, GM is the brand that's probably most dominant in our history. Even though, of course, you know, his little Ford Escort back in the 70s was probably his most favourite race car he ever owned. And obviously we had the Volvo era. At Oscar days, he was in a Ford.
I'm looking out the window here down to the mezzanine, and there's still a Falcon Oscar here as well.
But it started with an early model, then he went to an EH from his early model, and obviously the sports sedans and Monaros, the A9Xs in his early V8 touring, what we used to call it, the Australian Touring Car Championship, touring car days. And so there it was, and that was, to be honest, we changed our Trans Ams this year from Mustang to Camaro. There was a couple of reasons for that. One, the domination, I suppose, of the Mustangs in Trans Am. We thought,
because the Camaro had not even won a race,
correct,
in Trans Am until this year.
That's right, and so we thought we're looking to change. So we'd go to the Camaros, and it was important for us to have a GM product. So really pleased that it's all worked out.
Makes sense. And a funny link here. There's a bunch of links here. But the Jamie one's a funny one, given, you know, his history here at GRM over the years. He's he made his debut with this team. He had his first full-time season, then he was out the door, and of course everything that happened after that, he's gone on to be the most winning driver in the history of the championship. So funny how the sliding doors of the world work.
Well, it's funny you say that, because when we were at Darwin, Jamie said to me, he said, last time we were talking about cars, you were trying to sell me one back in the dealership. When Jamie was up the back in the race team, I was down the front. The car salesman were down the front, and Jamie used to drive down in his.
Was that the baby blue Commodore?
It was a Commodore, correct.
VC or VH or something. Yeah.
Oh no, he had a dark, like a dark charcoal grey or nearly black VT when he
he upgraded.
Yeah, he upgraded, right? The big pay that we gave him, he was able to upgrade his car, right? But it is ironic how, you know, look, it's certainly within the sport, you do cross paths with people multiple times through, but no, as I say, I've got to give all credit to him, because, you know, in his time at GRM, it's well documented, and, you know, one of Garry's, he's made a lot of good decisions over the time, and it probably wasn't one of the best ones at the time, and it would have hurt Jamie for sure. But and good on him. He was really, really fair to us, and made the comment that, hey, probably, you know, you guys gave us a start. I'm really pleased that I can come in and help at this point. So yeah, really. Yeah, it's good.
It's cool how this stuff all sort of finds its way back somewhere, somehow. Talk to me a bit more about the 2020 situation. So Nathan Hearn, obviously there was a wild card, one of your existing cars that you'd raced previously. Yeah. There was a big push to get him in. You did a lot of chats. There was a lot of pushing. There was a lot of fighting with Motorsport Australia, with Civic, with everyone involved to try to make that happen. And ultimately it didn't. He couldn't drive the car. Jada and Tyler Everingham ended up driving that car. But talk to me about that situation and how that all unfolded, and then now here we are in 2026, so it's 6 years down the line that finally he hasn't raced a supercar at all at that time.
No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't ever raced one. I mean, look, it was, and it was we know how Dad is and was, very determined when he sets his sights on something, and he really, really rated young Nathan. I mean, he was 17 at the time. He's 23 now, so it's amazing the years.
I feel old if he's only 23 now.
And he sees things in people that others sometimes don't. He was just that adamant that he could do it and do a really good job in that is race at Bathurst. And back in that time, you had to have, and I might get the points wrong, but let's say it was 12 points on your national licence to automatically get a super licence. There was no requirement for Super 2. There was nothing else. It was just a points-based system. But exemptions had been given in the past, and they could be given if Motorsport Australia and Supercars agreed to give an exemption. And Nathan was 1 point short. He'd won a national Formula 4 championship, a state Formula 4 championship. They'd won a TA2 championship.
Which was the wrong, different, I should say, sanctioning body, though.
Correct.
TA2 was AASA.
Correct, it was AASA.
And that wasn't counting towards
correct.
But he did test the car, didn't he? Like, he actually drove the car.
He did an exceptional job when we went to Winton. He and Tyler Effingham went there and did it. Anyway, it didn't happen. You look back now and you can see some reasons why it didn't. But he's pressed on in his driving. He's been over the US, done quite a bit of Trans Am racing over there, or TA2 racing. And back here in Australia, he went on to win a championship with us in Trans Am, and now he runs his own team with his family, and he's doing a really, really good job. And he's got his points in excess of where he needs to be to get a licence.
He's got more than enough now.
He's got enough points.
Good now.
And look, and I don't want to put any pressure on him, because, I mean, this whole wild card, the motivation for me really is Garry, is my dad, and to just go there, present ourselves very, very well, get in there as a win, and I know just don't want to be a car show when we get there. It's a motor race and we'll be having a go, but we just got to keep our expectations, under control, and that's just really enjoy the experience and celebrate what Dad has done for young drivers, for us as a team, for all the people that are here, our family, all the fans that, Garry always had a lot of time for. So that's a big win for me.
I would be really, really disappointed in you if you don't dress up in something on the grid. Have you already started thinking?
Look, Garry always had a rule of dress-ups, right? If you qualify okay, we'll do a dress-up. But he used to say...
But if you're down the back...
If we qualify shit-house Baz, we're doing nothing, right? So I suppose it'll be a spur of the moment decision, and certainly don't want to put any pressure on the boys for qualifying, because I think it's important that we get the Sunday morning at Bathurst with a car that hasn't got any scrapes along the side of it. So we'll see.
No prefabricated saunas or anything like that.
No. The sauna days are actually a good story about the sauna.
Yeah.
When the Volvos, when we packed the Volvos up.
Oh yes, I think I know this one.
To send them to Sweden. That was part of the arrangement when the deal was done with Volvo, that the cars went back to didn't go back. They came from here, but they went to Sweden, and we pushed them all in. And Dad's out in the backyard here at work, and the sauna is in the back corner out there, and he's got the boys to rearrange the cars. He said, "Baz, come out here," and we go out, and he goes, "Right, let's push this sauna in last, and we'll have it. That when they open the doors, the first thing that comes out is a sauna." And he said, "I'd love to see their faces when they come out." So. We never heard it to the sauna.
Didn't hear the story.
No.
I wonder where that ended up.
Yeah.
Not sure if it's in the Cyan Racing Museum or not.
That's
But
right.
talk to me a bit about Moff. Obviously, James has been part of the furniture here for some time since he finished full-time racing, the Trans Am program. He drove here for supercars in the Volvo and the Commodore era as well. He works with us on the Undercut show as well. We go way back with Moff, but he's found a really happy home here. Obviously, he's got his building stuff that he's doing, and I know you guys talk a lot about that stuff, but motor racing looks like he's had fun with motor racing for some time now.
Yeah, look, Dad really took Moff under his wing, really, I'd say, if that's when he came here in 2016, or when we were talking, in 2015, what we're doing for the 2016 drivers. Obviously it was the last year, it was the final year of the Volvos in 2016. And, we had Scotty up here talking to Scotty about it, and just general chat. And Dad said, I heard he can be, quite, rude's the wrong word, but very abrupt to his workers on the radio. And, he just need to improve his attitude a bit and make him, be part of the team. And it's just not all about him. And Moff came along, and, Moff's Moff, he's an absolute ripper. But he speaks his mind and goes as he goes. And he just gradually became bit more worker friendly, if that's the right word, as time went on. Particularly, young Max was born, I think it was in April 2026, I think it was, Moff's first year with us, and, he got a family. He's a super smart guy, Moff, and he grew up, he just changed his whole attitude and the way he looked at things. You could sort of see change, and he became really good around the team. Occasionally the ugly Moff comes out, right? That's always good, but we like to see that every now and then. But no, he's been an absolute ripper, and obviously we bring, still keen on bringing young drivers through here, and Moff's good for the young guys. I mean, he sets a very good example with them, with his, obviously his racecraft and things like that, but also his disciplines around the team. And he's been good, and we have good fun. Some of our greatest memories in the last few years of Garry, Moff and I talk about last year when Moff and I stopped on the way up to, earlier this year, stopping at Bathurst. Used to be Garry, Moff and I would go to Wagga, we'd get a room, we'd have one double bed and one single bed, and we'd have to toss a coin to see who was going to sleep with Gaz, And we've had a lot of fun, and we're really proud of the way Moff's come along, not just his with his racing career. I mean, obviously he's in the twilight of that, not the beginning, but certainly from a business point of view with his building and things, he's done a tremendous job. So really pleased to give him this opportunity. Who knows where it goes from here. I mean, for him, whether he, it'd be nice if we can do it again next year. Who knows what goes on, but really great just to, rather than him just disappear off into the never from a supercar point of view, that him and Nathan Hearn together, both Trans Am champions at GRM, both Valvoline supported throughout that time, and Valvoline have been tremendous with his wildcard. They were that excited when I rang and spoke to them about it, and they've really got on board, and that will lead to a pretty iconic livery for our car. So we're looking forward to that coming.
Are you going to go back into the vault and pull something out, GRM, an old livery, or are you going to sort of give us something new but inspired by something?
Yeah, there'll be something new but certainly inspired. And I've so good, the 2000 car, the Bathurst winning car. We'll work something around that type of livery and make it really, really special. And it's not just the financial support from your sponsors that's important. It's when they really show excitement and that side of it. And I was just up at Valvoline in Dandenong the other day, fixing a drone out the back with one of our boys from here, and the workers there, sort of a couple of them knew about it, and they were that excited. And it's really great. And Valvoline, I think the first year is it 1989, 1990, the first year? Yeah. So we're hitting 36 years. It's
quite a relationship.
That's great.
It's a long one. So you're getting a Camaro. Is that L1 as they are. Right. So you got it for Bathurst. So to be clear, this is for the Bathurst 1000 in October, not for the Bend, not for anything else this year. But if you own this car, this is your car now. This is a GRM Camaro supercar. So this is the first supercar that you'll have raced that you haven't built since 1999.
Yeah, well, there you go. No, was that a different car?
Which was the old HRT VS.
Oh, correct.
That Garth started that year in.
Yeah, that's right.
So long history here of GRM cars. So this joins the family now.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with it? Are you open to doing, you talked about you'd love to do this again next year, but could you run it as a wild card for Nathan, for Moff, for someone who brings a budget? Or are you open to sort of, I'm not saying go full-time supercars, but, be around a bit more often?
Yeah, look, I think, we're fairly invested in our Trans Am program and really enjoy it. We enjoy the fact of having a mix of drivers in there, from call it the more senior guys like Moff and Jack Smith this year, even though Jack's only, what is he, probably 25 or 26?
He's young old.
Yeah, he's young old, isn't he?
Yeah.
And then the younger guys below there. So we really enjoy that. And it's a big part of motorsport. You've got to enjoy it, sure, it's a business, but if you're not enjoying it, it doesn't work. And we really enjoy that. So we'll certainly press on with that. And like you say, obviously now, owning a car, that does open the door to other opportunities. We're keen, to always, if we're to do something, it's with someone we believe we can achieve something with, So when you say drivers with budgets, are you just going to take someone along who's going to come with a big check? No, that's not us. And it certainly wasn't Dad, and I wouldn't do that. Would really want to know that we're helping somebody make a step in their career that it's showing something. And there's a lot of good young talent out there. And I'd just look in the, say, obviously you look at Transam a bit because we're in that week in, week out. I look at guys, say, like a Blake Tracy and these young guys coming through. There's guys out there. Jordan Coxett was here for a period of time. There's a guy that can really, really drive. Elliot Barber. I'm talking, these guys are a bit older, I suppose. But
haven't had the opportunity. To do
There's guys that can drive that just haven't been given that opportunity. And I'd like to think that maybe we'll just see it's really important to focus on what we do this year and really want to do Garry proud of what we do, and then from there we'll just see what unfolds.
Wait and see. But you got the car, so you got options. That's right. That's a good thing to have. So you've got a team here. You got a bunch of people. You're on a bunch of Trans Am cars. You got restos going on as well. Yeah. But you haven't been in the Supercars Championship full time since 19 and the wildcard of 20. Gen 3 cars are completely different to everything that you've ever run here before. Will you stick with your own team? Will you bring in some help from other places, whether it's engineers or other people who know these cars a bit better? Is there any 888 support they can maybe offer for Bathurst? How are you going to tackle all that in terms of engineering and all that sort of stuff?
So, look, from a core point of view, Stiffy that runs our team down here.
Stefan Miller, for those who want to know who Stiffy is.
Yeah, Stiffy, and Mr. Stiffy, all the Stiffy family, but no.
Yeah, you've got to have a nickname when you're at GRM,
that's right. Yeah, so Stefan, as you say, none of these guys have been exposed to Gen 3, but certainly exposed to what supercars is. And, at the end of the day, sure, it's a piece of machinery and, probably a little less technical than the previous cars, but you still need to know where you're heading with it. He'll oversee the operation. Gypsy, who has been about, Jeff Marshall, senior guys like that have been around a long time, are cool heads. And I just think we've got the core group of people is strong, but from an engineering point of view, yes, we will bring in an engineer from outside with Gen 3 experience who will be part of our Bathurst crew.
Have you got one locked or you got one in mind?
No, we've got a couple a couple in mind, and we'll probably know a bit more about that in the next couple of weeks, who it'll be. And this is, I must say again, Barry Ryan around the corner has been fantastic. Stiffy's been around there. Spent some time with him. He's, sure he's got his own team to run and his own focus, but he's been very, very good in all the help and advice and just a bit of direction and things that we've got to do. And obviously the Chevrolet Alliance is in play, and would like to think that we could be part of that to
tap into the
data at Bathurst. The car, Jamie will provide all their set up information for how they went to Bathurst last year, which obviously is a good starting point and probably a good finishing point. How'd they go last year, the team? Did they
finish 10th, 11th, something around there? Lowndes and Bates, from memory.
I built out the other cars. Are they going all right? I can't remember.
No.
Might have been a couple of mishaps.
Mishaps.
But they were quick.
There were mishaps.
So I'm sure.
I think you'll be fine. Either way, you'll be fine.
Correct.
Either way, you'll be fine. Do you go with number 34?
Yes.
The traditional.
Really pleased that it's available.
Yeah, I was going to say, no one's using it.
No one's using it.
You don't have to have the fight about it.
No, I think Matt Stone used it for a couple of years when he first bought our licence of us. And,
yes.
But it's sitting there. So, very important to run the 34, and we'll run a big number on the door. That's
number on the door. Nice.
I know there's been a bit of discussion around that lately. And we'll get this. I was watching NASCAR. I was up at 4:00 this morning watching those NASCARs, and they seem to be able to get the sponsors still and have big numbers. So
find a way.
It'd be nice to get the numbers back.
Find a way. Find a way. Big question. Would you ever entertain the possibility of going full-time supercars again?
Look, you never say never about anything because you don't know what changes as time goes on. But if you said, is that something that you're plotting or trying to do? No, it's not. No, I think really happy in the space that we're in with what we're doing. And if this, becomes something that we do more regularly, as in running a wild card, who knows what happens as you go along. But no, it's certainly not something that, on the radar or something we're looking to position ourselves to do.
I guess the other thing I wanted to ask you too is we've seen scenarios where there's been some grandiose ideas around Adelaide wildcards and all sorts of other things that people want to do, but there's just not many cars around to be able to do them. And teams are busy running their existing stuff. Are you open to your car being available to other people maybe to make some of those things happen?
Yeah, I think as a team would have the ability to certainly run a wildcard at Adelaide, and what opportunities open up there as we go along. there's obviously always talk about bringing the US guys out. And
that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, and we obviously through Valvoline, you immediately think of guys
like a bloke who's sponsored by Valvoline.
Exactly over there, yeah. So there's, who knows, down the track. But yeah, we would, I think first we're going to get some runs on the board to show what we're capable of, which Bathurst is the first one of those, and just show what we can do. And as time goes on, if we're seen as a good option for those opportunities for, obviously for those, if you sort of call it international type opportunities open up, you need the backing of your sponsors and probably manufacturers and things. So if you're not doing a good job, those opportunities won't come. But we're really determined to go and do a really good job. And from there, who knows what comes along. Yeah.
That's the best part. We'll wait and see. But the big news is, the best news, that GRM's coming back to supercars. You're going to race at Bathurst this year.
That's it.
Nathan Hearn makes his supercars and Bathurst 1000 debut. I asked Moff on the Undercut, our show a few months ago, what's he doing on October the 12th, being race day.
Oh, yeah, right.
Wasn't in the loop on what was going on here and all this sort of stuff that was being sort of discussed. And
how long ago was this? How long ago?
Oh, it was a couple of months ago now.
Right, okay.
And he was not sure.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that he's going to get an opportunity race at Bathurst. Whether it's the last one or not, who knows? But it's a cool opportunity for you guys to all fuse this all together. I also have to ask too, Marcus Ambrose still is connected to you and runs stuff out of here with Trans Am. Nathan Hearn's got a close association now with Russell Ingall.
Well, let's make it clear.
He's got
a close association with Russell Ingall's daughter.
He's dating Sash, Russell's daughter,
right.
Which, okay, we'll say it.
That's right, yeah.
But
sorry, no.
That's right. Russell's been helping him with his racing.
Yes.
He was up at Bathurst at Easter as well. He's done some testing. He's driven the car, actually, Russell, the Trans Am car as well. You've got vaults of info in those blokes around about approach to racing, approach to the track, approach to it all. Yeah. Do you tap into those boys too? Do you drag them in all this?
No. Look, you'd be crazy not to utilise the knowledge and what Marcus and Russell have done. I mean, it'd be silly not to tap into that. And you talk about engineers before, and sure, they're great at pushing buttons and looking at graphs and working out strategies. But in the heat of the moment when, the wise decisions need to be made. These guys that have been around there and done it all, I think there's no better people to have on board with us. And certainly, I'm pleased that they made up in that Repco ad last year. Those two blokes, because it would have been a bit awkward in the garage.
Murph and
sorry, I messed it up.
But Murph will be there too. Don't worry. Well, he's with Ryan Wood at Walkinshaw, so if they're all going to be lurking around together, they all need to hang out together, don't they?
David, obviously Russell and Marcus, they raced together, didn't they? Back in Stone Brothers days.
Stones, yeah. They were teammates for 3 years before, right. And they won the championships. Yeah. Russell won one, and Marcus won two. So
no, definitely. And look, Marcus has been around GRM for the last 4 or 5 years, and he was here just last week setting up the Trans Am cars with the boys down there. And he's an incredible fellow, Marcus. He's got just so much energy, and his health battles in the last few years, have been documented. But his attitude, his positivity on life, and his energy, it's. You're really fortunate to have people like him that have done so much in the sport to still want to give back. I mean, he does it because he loves it.
He doesn't have to. He
doesn't have to do it, and it's really to have Russell and himself there. It'd be great. So I think if everyone just takes their time, but just slowly monkey, as Garry would say, and
chase the monkey,
and just can't wait for October.
It's coming very fast though.
It is.
The Bathurst 1000 is going to be October 9 to 12. We're having this chat just before the news is being announced, just to put the timeline around our discussion here. But it's going to be pretty busy here. So you'll get the car. I guess you'll do some test days as part of the allocation that you've got as a wild card. So prep it, turn it around, learn a bit more about it.
That's it.
Let the boys go and have a steer, and away you go.
Exactly.
So.
Probably don't fiddle with it too much. It's coming down here ready to go from 888. So I think we'll just start at the point where it gets here. But obviously, boys will get around it and get to understand it, as you say, more and hit the track in September and up at Winton, and then
sounds good.
Get on to Bathurst and what are those dates? 9 to 12, I guess. So 9's a Thursday. So Moff and I'll be in Wagga on Tuesday the 7th.
It sounds like you're doing a gig. We'll be in Wagga on the 7th.
Tuesday the 7th.
Come along and see us.
We might get 2 single beds this time.
But you're keeping the tradition alive. Look, we love the road trip Bathurst, particularly if you're coming from Melbourne. There's a lot of road trips going on.
Tell you what to do when we're finished. I'll give you a photo you can put on your webpage or whatever it is, or your social media
socials
of Garry, Moffat, and I in the
beds
up at Wagga. Yeah, I sent it to you.
So the gift I didn't know this podcast would give.
Baz,
thanks for the time. Appreciate it. Really excited about this GRM coming back to supercars in Bathurst. We'll see you in September and October, and who knows, there might be a dress up or two. You never know.
Thanks, Noons, and again, just really, really proud as a team and our family to do this for Dad, and looking forward to seeing all the fans up at Bathurst and cheer on the 34.
It's going to be good. Everyone, hope you've enjoyed this special episode of the V8 Sleuth Podcast, powered by Parramatta Toyota, Sydney's Toyota dealer with a passion for performance and motorsport. We'll catch you next time.